What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Today I'm going to be giving you guys 50 insane reasons as to why the Tesla Model S is one of the best cars, if not the best car ever made. So first of all, it is the fastest production car as of right now. If you get the P100D, which is the latest edition, it can go 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. Why exactly is this possible? Well, it has one of the lowest coefficients of drag. I think it has the second lowest coefficient of drag on a car with a coefficient of drag of 0.24. Now, of course, the main reason that this can do this is because it's an electric car, but how is that relevant? Well, you guys, as you can see, there are no pistons or any energy loss, basically, and basically, when you put your feet down on the pedal, all the energy transfers directly and goes and turns into acceleration. And that, of course, is why Tesla cars are so much more efficient than, of course, all the other gas vehicles out there. So how energy efficient is it? Well, basically, you'd have to get a gas vehicle to go 90 plus miles on a single gallon of gas in order for it to compete with Tesla's efficiency. How insane is that? Aside from that, you save a lot of money on basically never ever having to go to a gas station in the first place, because superchargers are free if you buy a Tesla Model S. That, of course, is one way that you save a lot of money, but there's another way as well. No more engine oil changes or fluids for transmission or differentials or a bajillion other things. The only fluid you really need to change is probably your windshield wiper fluid. But what if the battery fails? Well, don't worry, they got you with that as well, because they have a warranty that lasts either 8 years or 125,000 miles. How awesome is that? Alright, but say you're at a supercharger station, what exactly do you do then, and how fast can one of these cars charge? Because we all know gas doesn't take that long to fill up. Well, approximately a supercharger can charge 5 miles in 1 minute. So you guys do the math on that one. However, if you are at home, your home charger isn't a supercharger, so it's approximately a minute per mile of charge, which still isn't that bad. Then, of course, how much range can one of these vehicles have? Well, you can go all the way from 208 on one of the lowest Tesla classes to, of course, the highest and the new one, P100D, which has a battery that can support up to 315 miles, so that is pretty awesome. Then, let's just bring up again, supercharging is free for life, so if you feel like going wherever, you don't need to worry about that. And if you are going places, it's one of the world's safest cars, being the only car in the world to get a perfect 5.0 on NHTSA testing. Not to mention the fact that it also has inner safety as well. It has this HEPA air filtration system that removes 99.97% of exhaust pollution, allergens, bacteria, and other contaminants that might be in the cabin air. So that is pretty awesome. China, take notes on that. Now, if you're inside, we also have to mention the fact that it's one of the quietest cars ever made as well, due to the fact that, you know, there's no engine noise or anything of that sort, and aside from the fact that it also has really good insulation, that basically makes it so you can only enjoy your music and not have to deal with whatever is going on outside. If you're stuck in traffic, that makes life just a little bit more pleasant. Now, if you are listening to music, you get yourself a 12 speaker system if you take the upgrade. Now, that can also help you in a different way, because some people do get a little ticked off when their car doesn't make any sound. So someone please create an app for Tesla that allows you to basically, I don't know, your car to make loud Ferrari noises from your speaker system if that needs to be the case, and if you like your loud sounds, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but I know people are. Then, of course, there is some upgrades. You can upgrade the battery, you can have ludicrous mode, and you can have a dual motor option. And if you look at the P100D, if you just look at that small little logo and of course the version of the car, you can figure out exactly what type of car it is, whether it's dual motored, whether it has something such as ludicrous mode or not, and so on and so forth. Now, speaking of the inside, there are two more very interesting things. It has the most space out of any car in its class. Once again, the bottom of the car is the battery, and everything else, without having an engine or anything, you can really resort all that space to basically putting wherever you want in there. Heck, there's even a thing called a frunk. What the frunk, right? That's basically the front trunk that basically allows you to put anything in there, and I heard that you can place an entire person in there if you're into that type of thing. So why would you get yourself a dual motor option on Tesla? Well, it does help a lot when it comes to traction. If you are driving on snow or ice, then you can add the all-wheel drive option for even better traction, and then you can upgrade the wheels to 21 inches as well. A spoiler and the red Tesla calipers, and you could just feel good about yourself, although they don't do too much. But who knows, a little bit less drag, I guess. There are also enough superchargers for you to make it all the way across the United States of America. Future superchargers are going to have this cool little thing that Tesla models already have built in, but aren't exactly being used because the superchargers don't exactly have this, because it's just too expensive for Tesla to actually do. What exactly is it? Well, basically a robotic arm comes out of nowhere and then replaces the battery on the bottom of your car with a fully charged battery. So basically you can have 300 miles, get that down to like 20 miles, and then go to a supercharger station, and you will get yourself a brand new battery with 315 miles. So of course the problem with this is that different batteries are different ages and all that. So now the problem with this is that it hasn't been implemented yet all over the place, and there are many problems with it, as I just mentioned, but that doesn't mean the idea isn't there. Now speaking of a little bit more when it comes to the outside, there are LED lights that auto adjust and have 3 position dynamic LED lights, so you can change it to whichever one you're feeling. The engine starts when you sit down in the car, so that makes life a little bit easier. The lighted door handles only come on when your remote is near it, and they only come out as well, so if someone is trying to just like hijack into your car, they're gonna have quite a bit of trouble doing it because of this cool little kind of safety but kind of just a gimmicky feature as well. The side mirrors, seats, and steering wheels can all be heated, and we all know that is a pretty convenient thing in the winter. There's 8 airbags to keep everyone safe, as I mentioned before, and it also has a 4-wheel anti-lock disc brakes. The remote is in the shape of the car, which I think is the sleekest thing ever done in terms of car remote design. And of course, you have options for the inside as well, so you can get black leather, white leather, tan leather, so on and so forth. It's just a random upgrade right there. But if you need more seats, you can also add 2 rear-facing seats way back in the trunk itself. So I don't really know if that is the world's most safest thing. However, if you do need just a little bit more space, you can have this little upgrade where the seats just come out, and then all of a sudden you have 2 seats in the front, 3 seats in the middle, and 2 seats in the back. So that is pretty awesome. The car can also have all these really good marketing-wise features that obviously need a little bit of work to this day, but let's be real. It does show what the future is capable of. So what exactly is the future capable of? The car itself can park itself, or it can bring itself completely out of the garage and just wait for you. It can also read street signs and road lines with Autopilot 2.0, which we'll talk about in just a second. You can also summon your Tesla from your phone, and it will come to the position wherever your phone or you are at that particular second. You can also automate tasks using certain things like IFTTT, or you can have it say, using IFTTT, you can have it maybe come out of the garage, set the heat to 50% at exactly 6 AM, so your car is all ready and set to go, and you really didn't have to do anything. You can also use Autopilot 2.0, and this is where things get pretty ridiculous, because this version of Autopilot can really you can basically use the car in normal downtown streets. Autopilot 1.0 was more meant for the highway and all that good stuff. However, this one, you can basically use it downtown, use it in traffic, when you're on your phone or something. However, that's not fully ready yet. As Tesla said, if you are going to be using these, it is at your own risk. Now, the next thing I got for you guys is, of course, the touchscreen itself. Tesla is a technology company, as it is a car company. It's kind of a mesh of both. It's in the heart of Silicon Valley, which makes it really appealing to, say, my channel. So of course, as you guys know, there's a 17-inch touchscreen, and of course, there are no physical buttons in the car except one, and the only physical button is an emergency button. Now, one of the most important features of Tesla's, and something they've been doing for the longest time, is that it's kind of like an iPhone connected to iTunes. Your Tesla will actually sync with Tesla servers and get the latest software updates, and this basically allows them to fix tiny little problems or glitches that you might have here and there. It could range from the simplest of things, from your doors glitching out, to something like button placement being wrong. Then, of course, this also allows you to get completely new features as well, and then, of course, all this data gets synced with all the other Teslas as well, which makes Autopilot even better. Now, Tesla barely patents anything, even with all these amazing features, and basically all the other car companies can kind of just low-key take all this and basically create their own cars, and they do this so they could give competition, so other companies can give them competition, and basically make it so more people are using electric vehicles, because, you know, competition is the key to innovation itself. And then I want to point out something completely random. Google Maps itself is a pain on other vehicles. We're talking about other big car manufacturers like Mercedes, Audi, and they actually charge you like $100, $200, something ridiculous, just so you can upgrade Google Maps, but not with Tesla's. Google Maps is already built into Tesla's, and of course, this also syncs with a Jarman server automatically, and there are no costly upgrades when it comes to updating these maps. Now, the car itself runs on Linux, believe it or not, is backed by an NVIDIA GPU, and of course has an ARM CPU, so, you know, nothing gets screwed up, and I don't think anyone in the right mind can even attempt to hack a Tesla. Then, of course, one of the coolest features received in an update is, of course, this cool thing called Bioweapon Defense Mode that creates positive pressure in the cabin to protect the people inside. Now, there's a new version that just came out, and it's known as version 8.0, and it also has all these brand new options that basically allows for voice commands to be recognized a lot easier. It has a better media player, better maps, and it even has a better autopilot overview, which is one of the best features of Teslas as a whole. I also want to throw in one of the older updates, and it was basically the car automatically lowering itself when it's on the highway and then raising itself when it is on rougher terrain and making the suspension a lot better. Then, of course, there is a key feature that just came out, and this is one of my favorite things ever because there has been a lot of controversy with this, and you know what? This is the simplest thing ever. So basically, if you leave your kid in the car and you turn this, I think it's a mode, or it might even be automatic, I'm not exactly sure on that, but basically if this mode is turned on, it's called cabin overheat protection, and basically if the cabin's getting too hot and it senses or automatically assumes that there is someone in the back of the vehicle, a dog, a cat, maybe, I don't know, like your kid, of course, please don't do that, but if you do, then it will automatically keep the car in a solid climate, either too cold, too hot, and of course it will balance things out to make it the perfect temperature for people to, you know, be perfectly fine in the back. Then, of course, the final thing, and one of my favorite things about Teslas, is that the Model S is the beginning of the best naming scheme ever. As you guys know, there's the Tesla Model S, there's the Tesla Model 3, which kind of looks like an E, and then the Tesla Model X, and finally in the future, the Tesla Model Y. And what does all that spell out? It spells out sexy, just like this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If so, leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. This is going to be me, logging off.